former U.S. Education Secretary and former Jackson State University and interim president and coach, Dr. Rod Page. He died at the age of 92. He served as the U.S. Secretary of Education from 2001 to 2005 under President George W. Bush. From 1964 to 1968, the Mississippi native also served as head football coach at his alma mater, JSU. That is where we find Ross Adams live. Ross, who did you speak with today about Mr. Page?
We spoke with a former JSU athletic director who's known Dr. Page for decades and decades. They actually have a very close relationship, close friendship that started right here at the university, and it lasted for 74 years. It was an unbreakable friendship that started at Jackson State University and lasted 3/4 of a century.
Rod Page and I met 74 years ago when we both was freshmen trying out for Jackson State's football team.
Dr. Walter Reed says he and Dr. Rod Page did everything together at Jackson State when they entered as freshmen in 1951. They had the same major and even pledged the same fraternity.
We just did so much together that we both liked, and it was just so similar. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Page, the former U.S. Secretary of Education, passed away Tuesday in Houston, Texas. He was 92 years old. Reed says he was devastated when he found out.
My daughter came over yesterday morning and gave me the message, and it just took all this strength out of me, and it's something that it'll take a while to get over.
Page had a long life filled with major accomplishments in education and athletics. Page served as JSU basketball coach and later head football coach. He next became athletic director and head coach at Texas Southern University. Page also served as superintendent of the Houston, Texas Public School District. Dr. Reed, the former athletic director at Jackson State, says Page was always committed to excellence. What do you think will be his legacy?
Rod's legacy will be that he was the type of fella that if he was involved in something, he wanted to conquer whatever it was. If he was taking a class and everybody else was having problems with the class, he would be that guy that was standing out. He was aggressive in most everything that he did.
In 2001, President George W. Bush named Page U.S. Education Secretary. Page returned to his alma mater to serve as JSU interim president from 2016 to 2017 when he was in his early 80s.
And I was one of the proudest folks in the state of Mississippi when he came back and served in that capacity. And I really believe if it hadn't have been for his age, he probably would have wanted to stay on. Interim JSU President Dr. Denise Gregory says that when she visited Dr. Page and his wife this past summer, he reminded me that every decision I make must keep students first, and his life's work proved that commitment for children across the country. Jackson Mayor John Horn praising Dr. Page as a pioneering educator and public servant who transformed lives all across the nation. For now, we're live at Jackson State University. Ross Adams, 16 WAPT News.